grounding practice. So I love this little beginning time because it's like we're not quite meditating yet, so we don't have to worry about that. So just find, like, where is this physical position? And not only physical, like how you're sitting or, but even a finer awareness of like a feeling of being at ease, like just a bit, like, or a feeling of stopping. So the bell calls, you hear, honey, it's time to stop. So we're sitting and breathing. I'm a person sitting and breathing. So in a way, we step back. And we watch. So there's a feeling being grounded. So the grounded feeling helps us like descend out of the thinking. And this feeling like the earth. The full stop. And we just notice what is happening today. What's happening? How does the body feel? Your measure of health? Any aches and pains? You don't have to like or dislike this. That's kind of a practice. It's like a healer, would ask you, well, honey, just tell me what's happening right now. What's weighing on you? What's going pretty good? It's so easy to feel what's burdening. But what keeps your heart light? We open up to the complexities of being human. What's the mind obsessing about? But opening up the perception even, like, do you hear sounds around you? Are there sounds? Notice what you feel, maybe the temperature of the space you're in. The feeling of the clothing that you've put on and how it's giving you warmth, comfort. What else are you sensing right now? Generally, we have the eyes closed, so we're not distracted by any visual input. We keep things simpler. What's your energy level? Are you feeling at all restless? Feel dull or tired? So we have this quality of caring. I really care about how I'm doing. But we do really shine a light on, not just our problems, but just the fact that we're here. We have this measure of health to do this work. This measure of care and love. What does it feel like to stop this putting everything down right now? And sometimes we have to do that again and again. Yeah, I'm putting that down. Kind of an emptying, just nothing to figure out. No need to ponder others. And we can affect or balance our own energy just by breathing. Noticing when you inhale, there's Just soaking in, like, hey, this breath that's keeping me alive. It's probably good to really soak it in. And the exhale, we're releasing waste. I feel that even relaxing, a release of tension. The inhale, bringing in even a feeling of being interested and curious. And the exhale, like your mouth softening, your calm eyes. Inhaling is that little zing. And the exhale, the throat is quiet. So notice these two. On the inhale, the alertness, awake. And the exhale, letting go of any distraction. This sounds easy. But each breath, there's effort to do this. Like, yeah, I'm really gonna practice this. This is not easy. And it's breath by breath. It's good to notice like which instruction I've given already that really works for you today. And just repeat it to yourself. You know what you need to hear. So I'm just going to share one, I like to just kind of share one teaching. But it can, like, when I talk about like dukkha or pain, it can be almost the dukkha of not learning these practices instantly, like, well, now I know, so now I should just do this all the time. But so yeah, we want to like really notice what's going on. Like, well, that's a pretty unreasonable expectation. So just, yeah, keeping that in mind. Like, well, of course, this is going to take a while. And I think of it as like this zigzag or kind of veering off the path, and like, gosh, I should be able to do better than this. Now, it's almost like there should be a special name for that dukkha, the frustration of not being able to instantly master this. And it can be a really large thorn, that to the point where we give up. It's like, you know what? I don't think I can do this. Because during the day, then I just get so, all of that tension just comes right back. So I've, definitely heard teachings that say, that really talk about perseverance and compassion. So compassion is when we see that, like, oh my gosh, this is really hard. And there's a tenderness around it. Yes, wow, this is really hard. I'm still, like, one moment I'm meditating, and the next moment I'm kind of acting like a jerk, or like, what is going on here? One moment, maybe if you're, if you drive, like you drive down the road really mindfully, and the next moment, not so mindful, So the description, the body description of this was from this teacher, Gil Fronsdal, and he said, he was talking about how easy it is to get in your head and just the proliferation of the thinking. And like you said, Bev, to the point where you're disconnected. But when you're disconnected from the body, we often don't even realize that we're disconnected from the body because we're so used to living up here. So what he described it was, and this can happen even during meditation, when we tell ourselves like, oh, let go of that thought. Like, oh, just let go of that thought, and we just push these thoughts away, when even here, when we're meditating. So he described it as, of all things, as a tube of toothpaste. Well, when you squeeze a tube of toothpaste, what happens? The toothpaste comes out, right? So when we hold physical tension, what happens is that it's kind of squeezing out thoughts. Like when we're really tense, the mind gets even more in that tizzy, kind of like, And then when we're meditating, we could still be tense, and we wonder, why do I keep thinking? Why can't I stop? And it's hard to, describe it sometimes, but it's like, I just keep going. And he said, we keep squeezing the toothpaste and we keep like sweeping away, the toothpaste that comes out. And he's like, well, that's not gonna stop the toothpaste from coming out. So we need to address the squeezing and the physical tension that is the cause for the mind to be out of balance. So he said during formal meditation, like this is a great place to notice, like, am I squeezing the tube? You know, am I squeezing the tube and expecting to stay calm? So it's a very physical feeling of the whole body, and where, like, there can be specific areas that we grip, we squeeze, we tense, the throat, the belly, the neck, we get all tensed up in the shoulder, you know. So it's like, we gotta start in the body. We have to. Because if we don't include the body, it's like expecting the mind to be calm while we're still squeezing. So it's an interesting kind of analogy, but I find that especially when we're so sensitive here in this practice, that we can really watch this going on. You know, this, oh, when I just focus on my body being that relaxed, like, and not squeezing, you know, that is the causes and conditions for a calm focus. And that's when things really do connect. And one thing I'll kind of throw in there, that it's funny how, as a teacher of all this, it's amazing watching myself like come back to certain teachings or practices. Like one lately I've been doing is when I go to bed at night, that to be mindful when you put yourself to bed. And it really is a practice, like, I'm gonna put myself to bed now. Just like you would put a child to bed. You know, like, honey, the day is over. It's time to rest. Now here, we're practicing not sleeping. But you can do these very same relaxation practices before you sleep. Truly. The connecting is kind of the same. The not squeezing the toothpaste tube is the same. And to actually feel your body relax before you go to bed, the great thing is even the smallest amount can matter. So there's a moment before you even fall asleep, like, I'm going to practice being mindful of what's going on. Where am I holding tension? Sink into your bed, you know, just like, So let's go ahead and practice this toothpaste tube practice. So, how to position the tube. So it has some space. You can actually feel like nothing's being squeezed. Now, a way to feel, like, okay, let me feel into this. Let yourself breathe, like just be aware of your nostrils. Position your nostrils, your sinuses. Staying like this open, you're aware of inside of all of this tubing. We're going to explore this feeling of nothing being squeezed. There's a lot to explore here. You could move awareness to different areas. What is curious? And possibly even how you kind of choose to breathe. Like if you breathe a little deeper, sometimes you can feel deeper into your body. How's that kind of the tubing of your throat? Not squeezing the throat. Notice if you're squeezing inside your mouth. I guess while we're at it, don't squeeze your brain. Space. And if you know you're maybe a sense of your jaw, if you want to spend time with your jaw. So even the slightest bit of the shoulders relaxing, even just aware shoulders. I often like to do that. I leave out the word relax. Just be aware. Eyes. Aware. The space of your chest, a vast space. Belly is calm. Remember, we're feeling these areas, sensing. Just aware. If you start thinking, like if this kind of triggers some kind of thinking, notice if you tense up. Oh, right. Don't squeeze the tube. So there's a flow of energy down through your arms, even the calm down through your hands. This is what it feels like as best as you can. not squeezing the tube at all. And this is really breath by breath, because our reactive nature is so fast. What effect does this have on the proliferation of thoughts? Sometimes the thinking it's maybe just quieter. Or possibly a little slower. We don't have that urgency. I gotta figure this out right now. There's just more space. Sometimes a thought comes up and, should I think this one or not? Just more space. Move awareness deeper and deeper, this even more refined feeling, not squeezing. So we could, in a lighthearted way, just say, just recognize how you feel now, maybe a sense of what you've learned, but also that truth, like, okay, I clearly have not mastered this yet. but I'm going to keep trying, you know? Like that's all we can do. Yeah. So I'm always just so happy to have spent this time learning and practicing together. Thanks everyone for coming today.